Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu, and welcome to Let's Play the Incredible Crash Dummies for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES as the kids call it. So yeah, what the heck is this nonsense? So the Incredible Crash Dummies was basically a thing back in the 80s and early 90s. There was a series of public service ads, basically car safety, you know, like as you can read on the screen right there. Don't be a dummy, buckle your safety belt, kids. And so yeah, there was just a bunch of ads on TV featuring these anthropomorphized crash dummies, and they'd, you know, be sitting there in their little traffic accident lab, getting into accidents. Their limbs would fall to pieces, and then they're like severed heads. Their severed heads would crack jokes at each other, basically. And it'd be like, there's like, yeah, limbs flying everywhere, and they'd be like, it's a living, or, you know, that kind of nonsense. And yeah, it was a very comedic, very slapsticky, not at all like the public service ads we get for car safety these days. But nevertheless, like anything, though, that got even remotely popular back in the early 90s, for some reason, they decided to take these crash dummies in this PSA and turn it into like a big franchise. They got their own like line of toys. Like you can see, like every like picture of a crash dummy you see here, I guarantee you, was a toy that you could buy. I think there were comic books. I'm pretty sure there was like an animated TV series, or maybe just a special or something. And then of course there were video games as well. Quite a few of them, actually, just about every console that existed back in the day. Most of them sucked, but this one in particular, the one on the NES, was actually the good one. This is a pretty decent game, which is pretty surprising considering what it is. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to know about like Crash Dummies story. In fact, I should probably be skipping through this. I forgot how long this freaking intro takes. This takes forever. So yeah, just advance through that and get to the game proper. So yeah, I guess that didn't really answer the question, why the heck am I playing this? This is actually a game that I kind of grew up with. This is one of the few games that I owned on the NES as a kid. It's like, I don't know, my parents... And it's not, like I mentioned, like, yeah, Crash Dummies were a big... like, you know, they were a big franchise, toys and video games and comic books and everything, but I was not like a huge Crash Dummies fan or anything. I think my parents just like found this in a bargain bin somewhere or something, I guess. I don't know. Somehow I ended up with a copy of this game in my possession. Oh, I want that. Oh man. Okay, so and there's actually, it's a surprisingly kind of interesting game. There we go. You got to get up. That's right. You get a bit more jump height off the ramp there. And yeah, I think that, yeah, the most notable thing here that you can see is, yeah, your character is riding around on like a unicycle, or like not even a unicycle. It's like he's got, it's like he got his like legs amputated and replaced with like a wheel or something, because I don't know, he just likes riding around on that wheel, just like some kind of dummy, I guess, because it's kind of, I'm not going to say a stupid control scheme or anything. It's actually kind of interesting and kind of fun to control. There's not really any reason for it. As far as I remember, there was not a character like this in like and I could be wrong about that. Like I said, I wasn't a huge Crash Dummies fan, but I don't remember ever, like I remember seeing the ads as a kid, and I don't remember seeing like a Crash Dummy that rode around with like having, you know, a wheel for feet or something. So anyways, but yeah, for some reason, I guess just to kind of distinguish the game, set it apart, make things interesting, one of your main dudes that you control is, yeah, basically riding a unicycle. And so you've got kind of your little wheel physics to contend with. And it takes a bit of getting used to. I actually didn't like it at all as a kid, but, you know, I stuck with it anyways because it was like one of the only games I owned. But coming back to it these days, I actually think it's I kind of like that they did this. It kind of sets the game apart a bit, make things a bit more interesting. And then the other kind of unusual thing is you've got, instead of sort of a standard sort of shoot and kill type weapon setup here, you've got your coolant spray that comes out of his little finger gun. That up there is the rocket. Basically the same as the speed shoes in Sonic the Hedgehog games, in that you pretty much don't ever want to get them because it, yeah, just rockets you forward at crazy speeds, and you can't stop yourself. It's still going, holy crap. And yeah, if you've got the speed booster on and you run into a wall, your head falls off. And so what happens with this, and this is a bit of kind of uniqueness to the controls that I think I could have done without, it actually reverses your controls, or at least just your left and right controls, once you lose your head, which is kind of irritating, and for that really disincentivizes you from taking any of the speed boost power-ups whatsoever. It's like you don't ever want to hit those stupid things. It's like an un-power-up, even more so than like speed shoes in Sonic the Hedgehog. And like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to actually be careful here. And you don't, oh god, I pressed the wrong button. So this is actually kind of a thing that with the level design in this game, is there's a lot of like vertical layering, where it's like you're kind of snaking your way up to the top of the level, and yeah, if you miss a jump on an upper level, you'll fall down to one of the previous ones. So now we got to do all this all over again. So yeah, despite all this though, it's kind of an interesting game, and interesting in a few ways and kind of bog standard in others, but it's solid overall, which is like really surprising considering that this is like basically. And like, if I didn't make it clear in like my little intro to Crash Dummies segment at the beginning there, like this really strikes me as just such a weird thing to try to make like a franchise out of. Like, seriously, like a couple of like wisecracking Crash Dummies teaching kids about like buckle your, like basically car safety, buckle your safety belt type stuff. It's like I thought the original ads were actually pretty neat. Like I said, a nice little contrast. What? Come on, okay, gotta get. Do I gotta do something here? Okay, get some height. There we go. But yeah, the original ads were actually kind of neat. It was just like I mentioned, kind of a very stark contrast to kind of the modern day traffic safety ads with all the screaming and crash noises and crying and whatnot. And it's just, it's not the kind of thing that tries to scare you straight. It's kind of back in the day when they thought like humor was the best way to get your attention and make the message stick. So, but yeah. So yeah, the original ad's kind of a neat idea, a cool concept too. Oh yeah, and so there's this other character in the game. So you basically kind of go back and forth between, what were their names? I know, yes, because yeah, there were two main Crash Dummies in the original ads, and there was Larry, and this is gonna drive me nuts. I don't even know if the dummies in this game are the ones from the original ads. It could be that the ones from like the toy line and stuff were completely different. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Yeah, so that oil can I picked up and spent so much long trying to get in the previous level and hadn't even used yet is basically your lethal option for weaponry here. You can switch between all the weapons you have in your inventory with the select button. The one you always have by default is your coolant spray to just freeze and walk through enemies, but you've also got some other options, but the main secondary option is the oil gun here, in which case, yeah, you just shoot and kill enemies, and then the game basically the game becomes Mega Man at that point, especially once you're using kind of the regular walking character. I mean, yeah, this is basically just Mega Man at this point, which is, I mean, not to knock it or anything, it's kind of a mediocre Mega Man knockoff. Honestly, as a kid, I liked these levels better than the Wheel Guy levels, just because they were easier to control. But honestly, coming back to it now, I find the wheel mechanic just a lot more interesting. It's like kind of tricky to control and takes a bit of finesse, and you can do stuff like get extra jump height off ramps and stuff, and it's just kind of neat. I almost wish they had like stuck with it for the whole game, but nevertheless, this is kind of neat for variety, I guess. And man, and what a walking guy he is too. That is quite the little power walk animation there. Actually, in general, I think the graphics and animation in this game, and like I said, just like the overall quality of this, it's like shockingly high quality for what it was. Just like a weird, like basically a cynical cash grab based on like this weird thing that they decided to make a toy line out of, just because, you know, like I said, anything that's even remotely popular, you gotta get its own comic books and toys and all that crap. But hey, I'm not complaining, because we actually got one pretty good video game out of it. So things are looking pretty easy so far, but I'm actually I want to be really careful not to die in these early levels, just because the difficulty in this game actually ramps up significantly as you get into the last few levels, and every life kind of counts, so there's actually a little bit of tension even in these early stages, just because I know I'm probably going to need as many lives as I can get as we move on, but and actually I'm kind of using the oil here just to kind of show it off. I almost never switch to the oil gun. Like, I pretty much go through the entire game with coolant during, like, my regular run-throughs of this game, just because, I don't know, I just never think to do it, because coolant handles pretty much everything. There's never really much reason to go for the oil gun. The extra range doesn't help a lot. And in fact, in situations like this, it's kind of a liability, because it actually... Because, yeah, it doesn't really quite have the rate of fire to, like, be able to take down enemies that take multiple hits very quickly. Like, that guy is coming in just so fast, you're not... Unless you've got, like, a good... Like, yeah, unless you can hit him from, like, a safe spot where he can't get at you, you're not going to be able to pop off 3 shots on these guys on reaction. So it's actually pretty much just straight up easier to use the coolant on them. Although, actually, we're going to have to backtrack through this area. Okay, if you can anticipate them coming, you can get it on reaction. As a kid, I got stuck on this section here for so long. I didn't realize that these mossy things, they're like bouncy. They like, you can like jump on them and then hit the jump button as you land on it, and it's like a springy platforms, like the tires in the previous level. I can never find a way to get up here without taking a hit from one of those tires. They come out so fast. Okay, and that's the first boss down, basically. And how am I going to divide these? Am I going to actually have to wrap up my commentary here? We'll actually do that. We'll actually go like 1 stage per video for this series. So, and so yeah, we gotta get our dog out of the cage. Oh yeah, and this is fun. So, okay. No. Come on. Maybe from the other side? Okay, this is amusing. Watch this. So it's like, 100-ton trap. I tricked you. I saw that coming, and I'm like nowhere near it. No way that thing's gonna hit me. Oh no, banged my toe. That was where the fall apart switch was. Apparently, was on this guy's freaking toe. And actually, that was the big selling feature of the toys in the toy line. Actually, is they had buttons to like, you'd like press a button on his chest or something, and then his like limbs would fly off, and it's great. And yeah, this is the quality of like humor you'd see in like the ads and stuff. Anyways, I guess I gotta wrap things up. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this first stage of the Incredible Crash Dummies for the NES. I think there's 5 stages in the game. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for now. See you next time, and thanks for watching.